Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. It is Wednesday, April 23rd. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Hump Day officially here. If you're watching live on YouTube, we always appreciate that. Thank you for doing so. There's those everyday people on there always chatting, having a good time as well. So we thank you guys. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We are also live on X right now. X has been very, very good to us. So we appreciate you. If you take some time while working or whatever to listen to the show, we always appreciate that. And also, the podcasts are going well. You can check us out on the podcasting side of things each and every day. Once the show gets over, I get those to all the podcasting platforms. So Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Podbean, you name it. Wherever you get your podcast, you should see Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. And I always say, if you don't, let me know. We'll get that figured out and get on that podcasting platform as well. Well, it's been a fun week on the show so far. A good show to get to today, and then we all point ahead till tomorrow. We're going to take the show on the road. I started kind of mapping things out today and looking at things and going, oh boy, let's see if we can get this thing done. So the first time for everything, we're going to take the show on the road. More to get to on that in just a second. But for today's show, really excited to be joined in just a matter of moments by one of my favorite people, my good friend Chuck Long. And it's cool for me to get to say that because one of the first football players I grew up watching was Chuck Long at the University of Iowa. And then, of course, a first-round draft pick of the Detroit Lions, my team. So Chuck has done a charity auction here in the Quad Cities for 28 years. The 28th annual Chuck Long charity auction kicks off around midnight tonight. And you can go online right now and check out all the items and all that good stuff. It raises money for the Children's Therapy Center right here in the Quad Cities. So in a matter of moments, Chuck and Angie Peterson, the CEO of the Children's Therapy Center right here in the Quad Cities, will join us to talk about the event this year, the amount of things that are there for you to go get. A lot of Caitlin Clark stuff, which is really cool. A lot of Iowa women's basketball stuff, which is extremely cool as well. So there's something for everyone. We'll kind of go through that. And then also, I got to get Chuck's thoughts on college football, the transfer portal, all the craziness going on. Also a new quarterback in Iowa City, his thoughts on him and making that transition from one level to the next, and spring football, a bunch more. So a lot of Iowa football to get to with Chuck as well. So Chuck Long, Angie Peterson coming up in just a matter of moments. It's also Wednesday, which means it's Steamwheelers Wednesday, brought to you by XUSD right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up around 10:45, wide receiver Deion McShane will join us. The Wheelers are 4-0. Coming off a bye week. They're back at home on Saturday night. They welcome a 3-1 Jacksonville team to town. A really good football game. Really good matchup. We'll see if the Wheelers can continue their winning ways. And I kind of brag about it a little bit, but ever since the Wheelers and OTA have kind of started this beautiful relationship, they don't lose. So I get a little credit, I think. But Steamwheeler Wednesday coming up a little bit later on in hour number 1 of the show. And also in hour number 2, I want to chat with you guys about We're going to welcome a guest as well. This weekend at Active Endeavors, there's a product you can get, and it's a really cool new athletic sandal, but it also will benefit veterans right here in the Quad Cities. So a really cool thing I want to talk to you guys about a little bit. So that's coming up in hour number 2 as well. News and notes, the transfer portal is officially closed. Now, that doesn't mean it's over or it goes away. It just means you can't get in anymore. And a lot of players have gotten in. The Fighting Illini, speaking of college basketball, continue to add to their roster, and they do so via the European Vision. Serbian guard Mihailo, I think, Petrovic, committing to the University of University of Illinois yesterday. That makes 4 European players on the Illinois roster for next year, with one more, a big one looming, a possible commit coming up in the next couple days. So you can tell Brad Underwood has a European vision. This isn't something new. He's been doing it for a few years, laid the foundation, laid the groundwork to do so. So that's coming to fruition. Nothing against that. I think it's a great idea. Good basketball being played over there. So nothing against that side of things. I do think this. I think it's kind of weird that a 22-year-old in Europe that's been playing professional basketball for several years can now all of a sudden be a college kid, a college freshman. I think that's weird, but that's one of numerous things that I think that's weird with college basketball right now. So we'll talk a little Illini basketball coming up, maybe the end of this week, but most likely the beginning of next week, and how that all fits together as they continue to put together this roster. And Brad Underwood does a good job completely reconstructed almost last year. It's going to look a lot different again this year as well. So we'll get to that a little bit later on OTA. Also, as we mentioned, we've been mentioning a lot, the NFL draft is what, about 48 hours away? Less than 48 hours away, almost 24 hours away. It kicks off in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're going to try to do what they did in Detroit last year. Won't be nearly as good, but it should be fun. The NFL draft round 1 kicks off on Thursday. We're super excited about it because after the show today, I'm going to try to figure out how to get all this stuff over to Oscar's Pub over in Bettendorf, because we have our first remote of the show. 3 months in, I'm surprised that we're already doing it, but we're going to rock and roll. Oscar's Pub, the NFL draft party, our inaugural party. Don't say first annual. There's no such thing. It can't be annual unless you do it at least twice. It's a pet peeve of mine. So the inaugural NFL draft party over at Oscar's, off the air. The show will be there from 5 to 7, 5-ish to 7. We hope to get rocking by 5. The draft starts at 7 p.m. You can see special guest. I don't know if he's Pat Anger. So he will be there. Man, he looks so tough and mean back in the day in the NFL, but Pat will be there. Also, I'm almost positive that Iowa State standout, also Bettendorf standout, and a guy that'll hear his name either Thursday or Friday in the NFL draft, Darian Porter, stopping by tomorrow as well. Beginning of the show around 5 o'clock, 5:15. So we'll chat with him as well. An exciting weekend for an awesome young man. If you missed our interview with Darian Porter about 2 weeks ago, go check it out. You can check everything out on YouTube or the podcasts or wherever you get your stuff. Easiest is to go to YouTube, but check out our interview with Darian Porter, an amazing young man, outstanding young man off the field, and a really cool story on the field, and obviously physically gifted as well, because you'll see him. He did a great job at the combine. You'll hear his name maybe late first round, second round of the NFL draft. So excited about that. And if you're wondering about the NFL draft in general, on Monday's show, Scott Docterman was on talking a little more local stuff. A lot of times you look at this at a week like this week and you see a lot of national coverage. If you're wondering about the Caleb Johnsons, the Darian Porters, Bears, Packers, Vikings, even the Lions, go check out our show from Monday, because Scott Docterman from The Athletic did a fantastic job kind of laying that out. So in review, tomorrow, 5 to 7, the show is live at Oscar's Pub. Stop on by, check out the show, get some good food, get some drinks. Also, the party will continue. The draft starts at 7. We'll hang out all evening over at Oscar's Pub in Bettendorf. Hopefully, you guys can be there and join us as well. Of course, a busy time of year, a lot of stuff going on. And one thing this time of year that I love is an annual tradition here in the Quad Cities, the 28th annual Chuck Long charity auction. It's been going on for 28 years now, and it's raising money for kids right here in the Quad Cities. And joining me now is the CEO of the Children's Therapy Center, Angie Peterson, and some guy by the name of Chuck Long. Chuck, how are you? Angie, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us on. This is exciting. First time with your new gig.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Well, I'm excited to be on, Matt. Thanks for having us on. We're talking about a really great cause coming up. But yeah, congratulations on your new gig.
I appreciate it. It's going, like I told you guys before we started, believe it or not, people listen to anything these days. So it's going well. Knock on wood. Hopefully it continues to go well. But I'm excited because I've been part of this thing for a while now. And the thing is, it outlasts me by a long time. And I ask every year, Chuck, but it's the 28th annual Chuck Long charity auction. And every year, that year, that number goes up. And gratefully, so does the funds that we raise. But to hear 28 years, that's so rare nowadays. The shelf life of things aren't 28 years, but this thing continues to get bigger and better. And you've got to be proud of that as well.
Very proud. And, it's been a team effort for 28 years. Angie was on the board when we first started this deal, and it was really her brainchild along with W.K. Junker at the time. And they came to me 28 years ago and say, would you put your name to this? And I said, you bet. Let's do this. And like you said, Matt, I was thinking, well, this will go between, 6 to 8 years or so, maybe. And then something else, we'll have to do something else at the CTC. And it's 28 years. And when Angie and her team took over, it elevated the whole thing and really almost doubled in production and net revenue and for the center. So they took it to another level that I never thought would happen. And it's been a wonderful ride. It keeps getting stronger and stronger. And Matt, you and guys like Tom Kakert have elevated even that much more. I mean, you guys with your following have really put it at a high level, and we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you for that. But just love what we do. Love the auction. We went, because of COVID, we had to go online, and it's really been beneficial. We've reached more people because of it nationwide. And so I know Angie's going to talk more about the cause, but really love what we're doing right now. Yeah,
Chuck, and I want to bring Angie in because it raises money for kids right here in the Quad Cities. I said that at the intro, but the Children's Therapy Center has been active in our community for over 75 years, and the need continues to grow. Can you kind of talk about that? Because it is helping kids right here in the Quad Cities, and it's not like the list is getting any shorter. It's getting longer, and it's this
Absolutely.
Event helps. And that's not, I don't want to say it's not the case all the time, but all the money stays right here. And that's not said about everything. You can literally, and I've gotten to see it, that's the beauty part. You can watch the money that we raise help kids. And you see that, and I know you see it first and foremost every day. Talk about the center, what you get to do, and what we're doing here, raising money for kids here in the Quad Cities.
Well, Matt, you're correct. We just entered our 76th year of serving kids with disabilities throughout the greater Quad Cities area. One of the coolest things about our organization is we don't have any geographic boundaries. So we help kids throughout Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois. We've had kids over the years come as far as from Dubuque, Burlington, Tiffin, Durant, DeWitt, Clinton, and then on the Illinois side, Sterling, Illinois. We've got kiddos that come from Sterling, Illinois for therapy. So that's the coolest thing, I think, is that we don't have any geographic boundaries. We help all kids, regardless of the type of insurance they have, underinsured, uninsured. We accept, all private insurances, state insurances. We just want to make sure that these kids get the help and the foundation they need to achieve their highest level of independence. And that differs from kid to kid, depending on their diagnosis and all of that. We're just so fortunate to be here for 76 years. And the reason we're here is because of wonderful people throughout the community. And like you said, and the last 5 years and beyond. We have great supporters in the Quad Cities. We've got some of our major sponsors, American Bank and Trust, Whitey's Ice Cream, the Moon Family Foundation in Iowa 80 Truck Stop, Mel Foster, Hawkeye Report. But we've got sponsors outside of the Quad Cities. We've got, Atlantic Bottling Company has a Walcott distribution center, but, they're based out of the Des Moines area Fairway store. They've got 7 stores in and around the Quad Cities, but they were based out of Boone and just moved to Des Moines. So we're so fortunate that we have supporters all over the state of Iowa and Illinois, and then our participants. 37 states, I think we have registered bidders on the last couple of years. That's huge. Yeah. And these people don't know the Quad Cities, but they know Chuck and they love Chuck and they know it's a great cause and they know we're helping kids. And we would not be here as an organization for 76 years, greatly in part to people who participate in this event over the last 28 years.
No, absolutely, 100%. Chuck, it wasn't like they just said, hey, Chuck, let's start an auction for whatever cause. This is a cause that's near and dear to you as well. Kind of talk about that, because what drew you way back 28, 29 years ago to this organization helping kids? I know it's a personal thing for you as well.
Yes. I have a brother that was born with cerebral palsy. And so I've always been part of his things that he did, like Easter seals and Special Olympics growing up with him. And so when Angie approached me, 28 years ago, it was a no-brainer for me. And I thought the Quad Cities was perfect because, I was raised in Illinois. I'm from Illinois, but yet I went to Iowa. So there's that Iowa-Illinois connection there, because I'm affiliated with both states and also because with my friendship with Angie since college, I said, hey, this is a great deal, and I want to help out as much as I could. And I thought it was a really natural fit for me because of Illinois-Iowa connection that I have and helping kids with disabilities. So, it took me all of 1 minute to say, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Whatever you need for me to, whatever you need from me. And here we are 28 years later, yeah. and it's grown in a great way.
Nearly 3 decades of helping kids is a beautiful thing. Angie, the event now, it has been structured because of COVID a little bit, and it's a good structure now. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it opens up April 24th, and it's an online auction from April 24th until May 3rd, and then we'll have a little ending thing on May 3rd. It'll be done at 8 o'clock that night. Talk about that. I know people can go register right now. And the easiest thing to do is to go, and we'll put it all up on social media, but go to ctcqc.org. It's the Children's Therapy Center right in the Quad Cities, their main website, and there's a huge, you can't miss it. Click on there, that'll take you there. Kind of talk about how people get involved, how people sign up, because it's one of those things that we talk about every year. It sounds cliche, but there's something for everyone. And it used to be the Chuck Long Sports Auction. I mean, it did. And now it's the Chuck Long Charity Auction. And that's not just because we don't like sports anymore, because there's plenty of sports, but there's something there for everyone. I've joked sometimes my wife and kids get more than I do, although I've been lucky lately. We've reversed the trend in the Randazzo household. But talk about how people get involved and get started.
Well, it's really easy to do, Matt. Like you said, just go to our Children's Therapy Center website. It's www.ctcqc.org. And on the home page and all of the pages throughout the site, you'll see the big 28th anniversary logo. So just click on that. It'll take you right to our auction website. It's, about a minute to sign up. You put your phone number in and your name. And right now you can just preview all of the items that will be up for bid starting just a little after midnight on the 24th. But there really is something for everyone. It used to be sports, 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 like you said, and then we had some of the women and the girlfriends and the significant others that had come and say, well, that's great, you're getting all this for the man cave and your basement, but hey, what's in it for me? So we've added designer handbags and high-end skincare products and items for the home, kitchen items, and refresh your patio, some kind of outerwear items. We've got a wine, picnic baskets. We have a lot of booze, a lot of whiskey and bourbon. That always goes over big. A lot of cocktail baskets. Just, things to get organized in the home, some kids things, fun experiences, food. We've got a little bit of everything, and all of the funds raised from the bidding on these items goes to provide therapy services for kids. And that's really important that everybody understands that that's where that money goes. We have wonderful sponsors that help us promote the event and that sort of thing. And it just keeps growing every year. We talked about our presenting sponsor, which is Atlantic Bottling Company. And then, I-80 Truck Stop and the Moon Family Foundation and Athletico and the Mark and Marianne Kaufman Foundation. Mark was a trainer at Iowa for years when Chuck and the guys were playing, and Mark and Marianne have been wonderful, and American Bank and Trust and Eaton. I mean, you name it. We have sponsors from all over, and those sponsorship levels continue to grow. You talked about COVID and how we had to stop and go, okay, what are we going to do, right? And it went online. And we're reaching more people. Like I said, almost 40 bidders from 40 different states. And our sponsors have been phenomenal. They just keep coming back. And a lot of them are doubling what their sponsorship is. And they're bringing new friends in to become sponsors. And that's what's really allowed this event to grow and remain so successful, is just bringing more people in to help us out every year. So on that line, one of our goals is to bring in more bidders this year. Our goal is 50 to 100 new bidders, new registrations, new people participating and helping our kids. I mean, we know we're on track for another record year, but we need more bidders to join us and become part of the family and help make that happen. With nearly 200 kids on the wait list, like you said, our wait list isn't getting smaller. Yeah. Our wait list grows every single year.
It's crazy, Angie, because while Angie was talking, I was paying attention, but I made the mistake of pulling up the website and I've already been on it, but I promise you, if you're watching this today, take a second and go to the website. I mean, ctcqc.org, Children's Therapy Center, Quad Cities, just the acronym for that. .org, and just scroll through it. It's a simple click. I gotta ask you, Chuck, a framed Chuck Long jersey from the Rose Bowl in '86. There's got to be stories behind this, and then I love it because there's always something for some of the things you guys think of. There's a game-worn Detroit Lions uniform pants personalized by Chuck with an actual picture with it too. When you go through some of these things, it's got to be fun for you, Chuck, because it is a walk down memory lane. '86 in the Rose Bowl, Detroit Lions first round draft pick. It's got to be fun for you to kind of go through some of this stuff as well.
It is, but the reality is, Matt, I got up, I went up in the attic, and I have all this stuff in a bag up there that's been up there for 40 years, right? Yeah. And I said, look, I have to give this stuff to the Children's Therapy Center to raise some money for the kids. And so I'm starting to give away all of those memory lane items, if you will, that, have been in the attic, yeah. They're not even hanging up in the house. So that's what I'm doing. I decided, I think, I'm 62 now. So it's like, okay, when I hit 60, let's give this stuff away. Let's give it to a cause. Obviously the cause is the Children's Therapy Center. And so I don't need any more. And here's the other thing, Matt. My kids don't want it either. So if they don't, I asked them first. If they don't want it, I'm going to give it to Angie for the auction.
It's awesome. There's so many good things. Angie, you buried the lead because there's a Caitlin Clark autographed jersey, isn't it? Am I wrong?
I was going to let you, right. I was going to let you.
No, exactly. It's a, I'm scrolling back up to it. Guys, there's so much stuff on here. And honestly, this will sound cheesy to you two, but like, this is one of my favorite days of the year is when this thing comes up. And there's always a time I stop by the center that Tim has that smile. Tim Smith has that smile on his face. And he's like, cause he's like a proud papa. Angie, you know that. And he's like, come want to come over and see it. And then like, I just run around like a little, but yeah. Caitlin Clark autographed, jersey from the Final Four. There was another Caitlin Clark, Brock and Owen Freeman.
Ball.
Yeah, a ball. Yep.
Yeah, there's
Caitlin
a Caitlin Clark ball.
Yep.
There's a Caitlin Clark stand-up, the limited edition stand-up that she did just for Hy-Vee with the Chinese food box. We've got one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
the
are
cool one too,
really rare.
And I got to find it again. It was the Final Four team, the 2024, 2025 Iowa women's Final Four team. An autographed frame picture of them is awesome as well. But you name it. I mean, if you're not just a Hawkeye fan on here, there's like you said, there's booze, but there's NFL stuff. A Sam Laporta mini helmet. I don't even want to say that on here because the Amon-Ra St. Brown came home with me last year, and that one's going to come home with me this year. There's an Amon-Ra St. Brown one again. So if you lost to me last year, haha. You can get it back this year as well. A Pat Anger signed helmet. A lot of and they're huge. And I kind of talked to you guys about my views here on the show, but like when we talk Iowa women's basketball here on the show, the views go up. Obviously, it's one of the most popular things going right now, and there is something. There's so many items from the Iowa women's basketball team. Chuck, there's Iowa State stuff on here. I don't know if that's okay in your eyes, but a Brees Hall signed autographed.
Dan McCarney autographed a Cyclone mini helmet for us. Dan's a good friend of our auction. There's Oklahoma ball. Yep. Signed by Chuck and Jason White, right?
And Dan has Iowa Hawkeye blood, so we'll allow that to happen. Okay.
Yeah, we let him cross over.
But I mean, obviously, and what a long-running thing has been the Mississippi Valley Fair concert guitar, but that's back here again once again. Signed by all the acts there. I mean, like a framed and autographed 8x10 from President Jimmy Carter. Like I mentioned, booze. And more booze and booze again, but like Old Town Bakery, a cake for a month. Just really, like my wife loves it because there's literally something for everyone, and I can sit here and ramble through a Tavian Banks, and Tavian's on the board, correct?
Yeah, he's on our board now. Yeah.
So something from him's on here as well. So again, it's CTC QC. And then go and just check it out. And there's grills, there's coolers, there's packages. Brock Harding and Owen Freeman several times in here have donated really cool items. So go check those out as well. And they're keepsakes too because they're not in Hawkeye gear anymore. So honestly, that makes them even more valuable and more cool because of the fact that it's a snapshot into their career as well. So Tori Taylor on here as well. I can go on and on. I'm going to talk some football with you in a second, Chuck, but with Angie, just with the auction itself, kind of talk about it on your end of things before we wrap up with the auction, because you've seen it grow over the years and you've seen, and we mentioned Tim Smith. We got to give him a little bit of love because he's done a great job with it as well. But I remember, and it's you too, because we're in COVID, maybe just out of COVID, and all of the people all over the country that did it, and you guys were taking little trips to like, not that they will not deliver everything. So if you're watching this in California, pump the brakes. But why was that important to you guys, especially that year, Angie? Because you guys did get out and thank people for what they're doing.
Right. It was a crazy year. We were, just a few weeks out and COVID hit and for everybody's safety, things were shutting down. And, and we were ready to go. And what do we do? And luckily, you know, our good friend and your good friend Tom Kakert and you guys said, okay, we're gonna shoot this out all across the country to all the Hawkeye fans, and we just had great response. In fact, we made a really good friend. You know, they say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And Chuck and I have been very fortunate to have made friends with an eye doctor in Dakota Dunes, South Dakota, right over the Iowa border, and Dr. Steve Ferguson. And he started bidding, and the auction was over after that 10 days or 2 weeks. And we looked at all the items that he had purchased, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? We've got to go meet this wonderful person that just jumped in and helped us raise a lot of money for our kids. So we called him up, and I introduced myself, and I said, hey, thank you so much. And he's like, no, happy to help. You have really great stuff. And I said, well, Chuck and I'd like to come and deliver those to you. And he said, Chuck who? And I said, Chuck Long. And he's like, Chuck Long, you and Chuck Long are going to drive to Dakota Dunes to my clinic and you're going to deliver all this. We said, sure, absolutely. So we jumped in the car and drove out there, and just they had this huge sign on the building and welcomed us, and all these Hawkeye fans kind of watching from afar, right? The patients that were there, and we've become really good friends, and they support us. And in fact, he and a group of his buddies have started an event up in Okoboji, a golf tournament in the summer that also benefits our organization. So awesome. That's just the power of good human beings and working together and wanting the best for kids. And we have so many other people from all over the country that register every year and bid every year. And they do it, like I said, because they love Chuck and what he brought to Iowa football, but they also know that all the money that they spend bidding on these items is going to help kids. And it doesn't matter that it's in the Quad Cities and they're in Pennsylvania or Arizona or Texas or Florida. They just want to help kids. Kids are kids. And they want, absolutely, they want these kids to have their best chance at a great life. And we are just thrilled and so grateful for everybody that helps us out every year.
George Kittle, Mike Singletary, Cooper DeJean's things, Cooper DeJean autographed picture, 16 by 20 picture. Also in here, stuff from Jimmy John's, Adolph's, Chick-fil-A, bless your heart, Happy Joe's. And then one more I'm going to talk about is, and I'm excited about this. So everybody sees every Monday, Pat Anger is on the show. In fact, he's going to be at Oscars with me tomorrow. For some reason, he felt sorry for an unemployed guy starting a podcast in his loft. So he's befriended me. But we're going to do dinner for two at me and Billy's in Davenport with Pat, Tom Kakert, and myself. So if you guys are Hawkeye fans, and trust me, it's weird that I'm even on that, but if you are Hawkeye fans and you want to talk Hawks, there's nobody better than Tom Kakert. And if you're just a fan of fun and you want to hear some really good stories, and Angie, there's something about football players and good stories, because Pat tells a fantastic story. My favorite auction, I probably shouldn't say this, was the auction probably during COVID when we went out to Bluegrass to the house, to the garages, and we had there.
Oh, to McAllister's.
The McAllisters.
To the McAllisters.
And we karaoke'd and we listened to Chuck tell stories. Some about you football players, Chuck, and telling stories. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, we've always had a good time with the football stories. And Angie will tell you, though, Matt, we tell the same stories over and over again. But
and they embellish. They embellish. Every single year, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit more.
A little bit bigger.
And hey, how about this too? Sold out, limited edition. You know those Caitlin Clark, the black Caitlin Clark balls? You guys know this. I mean, you put it together. For the retirement jersey ceremony, there wasn't a lot of them at all. That's in here as well. So. The dinner, all that kind of stuff. I will be bugging everybody for the next 10 days. Every single show. You guys see the promotion up during commercial breaks. I always talk about it as we come out. I want at least, if you listen to the show, and thousands, God bless you, do, if you haven't gone and looked at this thing, shame on you, because it's really, really good stuff. CTC QC. I could sit here and talk about the items all day long. I will be doing so you'll see some videos coming out. Tom Caker and myself, we're going to go over and we're going to do a bunch of promotional videos on what the items are. So go check it out. And I promise you guys will enjoy it. Guys, we're 2 years away from 30. Have we thought about that?
I know, right? I wish that was my age.
So you're 31, Angie. It's okay. 30,
Times
31. No,
two.
So, but Chuck, before I let you go, I do want to ask you a couple things. It was funny. We were waiting for Angie to, I think, go to the makeup room or whatever she was doing, but we started talking about some football. This NIL stuff, you're a former player. You're a former coach. Look at it. And then obviously now you're still coaching now, but not college-wise. And I'm all for players making money. I get it. I want that. But did you ever think it would look like this when you have players playing in spring practice, doing all spring practice, and hopping in a portal and going to another college before the season even begins? Your thoughts on the wild, wild west, I guess.
No, it's just what is it teaching these guys too, or these kids, across the board? Things don't work out, you're going to go over here, No, I never thought my wildest dreams would be like this at all. I thought they would have some kind of rules in place, much like the NFL has in free agency. I do believe, Matt, that, and I also believe that without a union, how can they ever get this done? Because the NFLPA is the union that gets those things done in free agency. I never thought, wow, there's no way these players can band together nationally to form a union, so it's not going to happen. Well, here we are. It's happened. And, the toothpaste is out of the tube, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going to go back, but I do believe down the road they're going to have contracts. They have to. They're going to be able to sign these kids with contracts, 1-2 year deals to keep him in place. I had I won't tell him his name. I won't tell you his name, but I had a current head coach at a Power 5 school tell me just the other day, every time his phone rings, he thinks it's one of his players wanting more money. I could not imagine managing that. Just trying to get more money for your own team who you recruited, you brought there, but they could be gone in the next moment.
Well, think about this. In the NFL, if you don't like your contract, you can hold out, but you can't just become a free agent all of a sudden. But that's the way it is. If you don't like the money you're making, and if they're not going to give you more, then you can just become a free agent and go get more wherever it's at. So there's got to be rules and regulations. And you mentioned that the toothpaste is out of the bottle, the genie's out of the bottle as well. It's hard to go back once you get to a point, but they do need regulations and all those kind of things. It's spring practice these days. They're wrapping up in Iowa City, I think, at the end of this week. I think the spring game is on Saturday. But there's some schools that aren't doing the spring game now. And it's almost to that thing where they don't want to put their players out there because they're on TV now, and then another coach might like it and take them. What did you get out of spring practice? Not just when you were a player, but when you were a coach as well. What are you trying to get out of it? I'm sure it's probably different if you're an underclassman, and then if you're a veteran, there's probably different things you get out of it. But what did you get out of spring practice? Maybe start as a player and then go as a coach.
Experience. I gained a lot of experience as a player in spring practice, and that's where you grow as a player. It's very, very simple, Matt. The more repetitions you get, the better you become. And so spring practice gives you all those repetitions that, if they didn't have spring ball, then you'd have to get them in the fall, and you just don't have enough. So that's the first thing. And as a coach, just getting those young players repetitions and getting them better. That was a valuable time, especially as a quarterback. It was such a valuable time to get repetitions. Cade McNamara is a great example. He just never had a full spring, because he was injured. And you need that spring to really get the repetitions that you need as a quarterback. Because, the quarterback position is very demanding. You have to know more than anybody else. And so without that spring, I couldn't imagine as a quarterback being ahead of the game. And I always felt like when I was a quarterback at Iowa, when I came out of spring ball, I felt like I was ahead of the game. And I had enough repetitions to feel good about going into training camp. So it's valuable. But like you said, anymore, there's no spring game. So coaches are worried about players getting poached,
Crazy.
or the player says, "Hey, coach, I'm pretty good. Give me some more money," that kind of thing. That's really sad, because the fans really like the spring game. They enjoyed it. They want to see who the new players were, and I don't know. It's just a crazy collegiate football world. I'm old school, It's hard for me to adjust to it. I'm one of those guys that sits on the couch and goes, we used to do it like this,
When I was little, I used to walk to school in the snow.
I used to walk to school.
Both uphill, both ways.
Yes. No, I get it. I feel that way. I am. I complain about to myself all the time. I did have somebody say to me, I said, hey, I got to go. I'm going to have Chuck Long on the show. And they said, oh, man, I love Chuck Long. He's the last good quarterback at Iowa. And I said, well, there's been, yes, he's the best, but there's been some, but they're right. I get the theme of it is it's been a struggle at the quarterback position for the University of Iowa. That's no secret, especially of late. Mark Gronowski comes in. Do you know anything about him? What is that transition like? And what do you expect? Because Chuck, if they get it right one of these years, they can do some really, really, really big things. They just got to get it right at the quarterback position.
Well, number one, he has great experience. He's thrown for a bunch of yards, so that's a good thing. He hasn't played at the highest level, so that's going to be the biggest adjustment for him. But he has thrown the ball. He has a lot of yards, and he has great experience. So I think he'll transition very well. It just remains to be seen how he adjusts to a higher level. Because when you go to a higher level, Matt, it's the windows get a little tighter throwing the football because players are faster. He's going to have to get used to the speed of the linebackers and the corners and the safeties. That window is, at his level, it might have been a little bit bigger. Now it's, man, you got to get rid of the ball a little quicker. So it's the speed of the game that's going to be the initial, I don't want to say shock, but it's going to be an adjustment for him, and especially when he gets in a Big Ten game. So that how he adjusts to that remains to be seen. I'd like to see that. I do believe he's with a good coach in Tim Lester. Tim has had all levels of football from small college to NFL. So I think he'll be a good mentor and teacher for him to get him adjusted to the speed. I know some of the things he's had before he won't be able to do at the Big Ten level, so he'll have to adjust to that. But I like him on what he's done. I like him on paper. He has a nice skill set. He has a nice arm. We'll see what happens.
Last football question for you. You mentioned Tim Lester. What did you see different in this Iowa offense? And I think the main thing that we talk a lot about is he kind of had to hit the ground running and didn't maybe get everything he can get in. And, as a coach and as an offensive coordinator now, you got to build as you go. What did you see from him? You just mentioned him. Did you like the change from Brian to Tim Lester? Did you see a positive encouragement of an offense that needs to go in the right direction?
I did for two reasons. Number one, you have an ex-quarterback there that's and a head coach, an ex-head coach that did very well as a head coach. Had a nice little tenure there, and so you have an experienced play caller, number one, and it came from the quarterback position because I think the best coordinators come from the quarterback position. Why? Because they handle the ball every play. They're the ones that handle the ball. You gotta do what he does best first. And he did that. And then he, like with Caleb Johnson, he was the star. He was the guy. So he featured him and found a lot of different ways to get him the football. I liked his formation variation. I liked the way he used the use of motion to get to the same running play, but gave the defense a different look. So I thought he utilized his most valuable weapon in a great way, and that's what good coordinators do. And they improved. They went to like 50th in the country or 56th in the country in total offense. Yeah. So that was a big jump. But you could tell Tim is smart that way. Okay, who's my best players? I want to give them the ball. At the same time, let's make it easier on the quarterback so he can produce. Now, he really had what was tough on him. He didn't have a quarterback that was consistently, in there and, got hurt, he had some injuries or whatever, trying to work that situation. So they need more stability there, and that'll really help them out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of coordinators, you are the offensive coordinator for the Arlington Renegades. Angie, he's 3-1 on the season. A lot better than last year. I think you were 0-4 at this point.
I know, right?
Yeah, we were.
I think Bob got on him a little bit and told him he needed to get, up his game this year. Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely.
Up the game.
Well, I appreciate you both doing this. Go ahead, Angie.
Well, I was going to say, Chuck forgot the most important thing about spring ball and the spring game. What did you forget? What did you guys all... Yeah, the party after the spring game. Mm-hmm.
We had a great...
He left that one out.
Yeah, we had a great party afterwards. It's one of the best parties of the year. It's a legendary party that they can't do that anymore. Let's just put it that way.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I tell you what, I appreciate you guys letting me part of what you guys do. I don't know why you put up with me. I don't know why Angie puts up with me, because I can be a little pain in the butt to get a hold of at times and stuff too. But it's one of the things I'm most proud of is being able to be part of this organization, Angie, and then, of course, the Chuck Long Charity Auction for as long as you guys have let me. We're going to pound this thing home. We're going to take it to the finish line. We're going to make a lot of money for kids. And I thank you guys for taking the time to come on my goofy little show and join me. Thanks again.
Well, thanks for having us and for all you do for us, Matt. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Same here,
absolutely.
Matt. Thank you.
Chuck Long and Angie Peterson. Again, the Chuck Long Charity Auction. Go now. Check it out. What is it? ctcqc.org. Go check it out. And then, of course, the auction opens up around 12 o'clock, 12:15 in the morning on Thursday morning, and then bid and bid often. So we got a lot more to get to on Off the Air. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist. When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
Please join us April 24th through May 3rd online for the 28th Annual Chuck Long Charity Auction presented by Atlantic Bottling Company. This year's event features over 200 amazing items. The more bidders we have, the more money we'll raise for life-altering therapy for kids in need right here in the Quad Cities. So please bid high and bid often. Brought to you by these sponsors.
Hey, Quad City parents, tired of the same old weekend routine? Well, listen up. Saturday night, April 26th, it's free youth jersey night with your Quad City Steamwheelers. The first 500 kids 12 and under score a free official Steamwheelers jersey just for showing up. That's right, free gear, big plays, and non-stop family fun. It's IFL football action and memories that'll last a lifetime. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and make it a night your kids won't forget. Presented by Crawford Company.
Welcome back to OTA here on a Wednesday in the Quad Cities. You just saw the promo. The Wheelers are back in town. They had a bye week last week, but hey, they're still undefeated, 4-0, and they got a great game coming up this week. They host Jacksonville. Jacksonville comes in 3-1, and so we get to have one of my favorite days of the week, Steamwheeler Wednesday, and we're joined now by wide receiver Deion McShane from the Quad City Steamwheelers. Deion, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. I know life is busy for you guys. Did you enjoy the bye week? How are things?
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed the bye week. I got to get off my feet, get off the feet and get the body healthy. So I'm ready for this week.
All right, before we talk football, are you from Freeport?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so on our YouTube chat, somebody hopped on, and they said when you were like 12 years old, you hit one of the longest home runs he's ever seen in a youth baseball game. And then he made like 2 great plays in center field, like amazing plays. I can't imagine you remember what he's talking about, do you? Did you drop a lot of home runs?
I hit a decent amount of home runs when I was younger, yeah.
So was baseball close to being your first love? Or where football, where do they kind of rank?
Okay, so baseball was my first sport, so I do like football a little bit more than baseball, but baseball was my first sport, and I feel like I might have been just a little bit better at baseball.
I love it. Well, we'll talk football instead of baseball with you right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned that bye week, Deion. You're playing really good football, so some people would say, hey, I want to keep playing because we're rolling. But it's a demanding sport. You mentioned getting off your feet. How important are bye weeks, regardless if you're playing well or not, because it's a demanding physical sport? A week off is always a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just like you said, it's a physical sport, so you need that week off. I'm not even going to lie. I see a lot of guys in this league, and just knowing that the field is so small and a lot of guys get banged up, so that week off, it's a great time to regenerate.
When you look at the first quarter of the season here, those first 4 games, you see 4-0, and that's a beautiful thing. But I know you coach. I know you guys as professional athletes, there's still work to be done. Kind of talk about that, because I think you can see the progress being made each game, but it's not a finished product, but you're winning at the same time. Kind of talk about balancing both, because as professional athletes, I think there's more for you guys to get to, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. I would say just focusing on the little things to get the games won, like limiting penalties, stuff like that. What else would I want to add in there?
Get rid of those turnovers.
The turnovers can't be a thing. Like, especially in this league, like it's the first to 50. That's what we always say. This is something I've seen from teams around here. First to 50 is usually the winner. And we usually go by that and just limiting penalties and just keeping everybody like hyped up on the team. You can't be out there and win games if your team is down. So you got to celebrate when it's needed.
there's been plenty of celebrating. I want to talk to you about the
Yeah.
that home field advantage, because you go around the league and there's good environments, but there's nothing like what's going on in the Quad Cities. And the thing about this year is there's an extra buzz, in my opinion. Been covering Quad City Steamwheelers since I was since I started doing this, and there's been some peaks. This year has that buzz that this is something special. Over 6,000 fans there last home game. I know people want more. You guys want more. Is there a buzz? Can you feel that buzz, that energy around what you guys are doing right now early in the season?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, this year, no lie, I've never seen a team chemistry like this. Like other teams that I've been on, guys don't celebrate as much as we do here. Like they see a guy score, the whole O-line is down the field. Everybody's in the end zone celebrating. So that's big when it comes to winning games.
Absolutely. You can tell there's a fire, there's a passion with these guys as well. Talk about that quarterback of yours, because we've had good quarterbacks here in the Quad Cities. Daquan's special. Talk about what you've seen and how quickly the chemistry has grown amongst yourself and the other wide receivers on this team.
Oh yeah, Quan, great quarterback. You could tell he's MVP caliber. We have actually two great quarterbacks, Denver Croft too. So like we out here trying to balance working with both quarterbacks, and I feel like the chemistry is there. This is pro football, so when you come into a season, you got to be in shape anyway, and just knowing that and just getting the chemistry down over camp, which we got that down, and we're just focused on at this point winning games and getting ready for the rest of the season.
When you look at the weapons that he gets, when it's Rudd and yourself and VC and that's the beauty thing, is because sometimes, I don't know if you've heard this, but wide receivers get a reputation as like wanting the football all the time. But you don't see that with you guys. If one guy's catching a touchdown, you guys are celebrating together. Talk about the mouths to be fed and the chemistry in that area as well, because you can literally see you guys cheering for each other and wanting, it don't matter who gets in the end zone as long as you guys are getting in the end zone.
Oh yeah, everybody eats. That's right. Everybody eats. Never leave nothing on that plate out there. So just knowing that we got a special receiver group. Like I didn't even play the first two games. Because that's how talented we are in the receiver room. And just knowing that we got quarterbacks that throw lasers and darts, so that's just helping us even more. And as a receiver, you can't win games unless you block. 100% that. Like where I came. The college I came from, the University of Northern Iowa, we block. So, like, just knowing that in the league, just around the league, You see just receivers in general, the position. A lot of guys don't like blocking like that, and we take pride in that. So, that helps us out a lot.
Deion McShane joining us right now from the Quad City Steamwheelers. They're back home this week, undefeated as well. How often do you guys say undefeated? I'm curious, because every time I talk about the Wheelers, I say undefeated Wheelers, 4-0 Wheelers. I had a guest on yesterday, and they said, hey, I saw your commercial break with the Wheelers in it. They're undefeated. Do you guys look at that as a thing? Is it early? Is it something you talk about? Or is it just week in, week out, taking care of business?
It's week in, week out, taking care of business. We don't really think about the games we won. We like to stay stable and just say, hey, it's 0-0. We haven't played a game yet. We need 1-0. That's how we keep our mentality.
Absolutely. And I think that probably comes from the head coach of yours. Talk about Coach Ross and what he means to this team. He's somebody that I've gotten to know being here 7-8 years in the Quad Cities. And I love what I love about his teams is they're good early. They get better throughout the season. And in my opinion, that's how you can tell a coaching staff's doing what they should be doing. What does he mean to this team? And you talked about that mindset of week in, week out. I'm pretty sure that comes from your head coach.
Oh yeah, Coach Ross tells us all the time, "Hey guys, have fun out there." He said, "You can't win games unless you're having fun." And another thing, he's hard on us. Like, and I like a coach that's hard on us because it actually make us focus and pay attention. Like he makes sure we there at meetings early. He making sure that everything's taken care of outside of football. You know what I'm saying? Like we have sometimes where we go to elementaries and talk to kids and all that stuff. And that stuff is important just to bring in the community because all the fans are out there looking at us. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really how I go. And
Yeah.
I just want to say, Coach, yeah, he giving everybody an opportunity just to be playing pro football, and that's a blessing. So we out here and we just trying to ball.
How fun is that to go to elementary schools, to go to those and see this community is so invested in sports, in high school sports and their professional sports teams to be able to do that. And you can probably see those kids are going to see you and say, I want to go see the Steamwheelers play this weekend, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you got to be a role model to them. A lot of kids are out there looking up to us, and, you know, it's pro football, so we want to put on a show for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Deion McShane joining us right now from the Quad City Steamwheelers. A big game this week. What do you know about Jacksonville? They lost for the first time, I know, last week when you guys were on your bye. What do you know about them? And obviously, when you look in that division, each game is very important. This one's a big one as well.
Yeah, this is a big one because they have some guys on Jacksonville that played with Quad City, so I know they're trying to come back and get their revenge. Plus, they just lost a game. We know they're going to come out hard, and we watch film. We look over what they got and just focus on us. Honestly, like we honestly don't care about what they got over there. We focusing on what we got to do.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a little bit about this team. I want to talk to you about your bye week. Did you do anything different? I know you relaxed, all that kind of stuff. Did you have any fun? Did you plan something on the bye week, or how did you spend your bye week here?
So, well, I actually went home to see my family because, you know, family is very important. And I got to do some fishing. I took my mind a little bit away from football. And, like, every day I usually wake up and go take a 2-mile run just to get the galactic acid out. I take care of my body. So you got to just take care of your body. And, like, just knowing that we coming back on fresh legs, hey, they going to see.
Oh, okay, you went fishing. What did you catch, and how big, and how much bigger has it gotten through the days after you've caught them? Are you one of those guys that the story keeps getting bigger, or what'd you catch, and what size?
Oh, I like to catch crappie, and I go crappie fishing a lot. And most of the size I usually keep them will be 11 to 12-inch crappies. Like, it's good eating. I love crappie fishing. I love bluegill fishing, walleye fishing. I do it all.
That's fantastic. Talk to me about this team off the field. You talked about the chemistry, and I have a feeling Joe Crawl is probably one of the biggest goofballs on the team, and he's been out to the house and he's awesome. But tell me some about these characters. Who's the I don't want to say class clown because I don't mean it that way, but who's the comic relief, if you will, when it comes to Quad City Steamwheelers football?
I would say Davion, Speedy, number 4. I'm
Okay.
telling you, he makes everybody laugh on the team. It don't matter where or when. And another thing about the team, like we're all in an apartment like together, so it's just a lot of different apartment rooms. And one thing that's big about this team is everybody has good chemistry. Like I talked about early, we all hang out with each other. Like we go golfing, we go out to eat together, and we all spend time and talk to each other. So that helps.
You mentioned golfing. I was going to ask you what sport you would play besides football, and you mentioned golfing. There's baseball, and rumor has it you're pretty good. What sport, if you couldn't play football didn't exist, and you had to play something else or do something else, what would you do?
I would have ran track.
Okay.
Yeah.
What event? What race?
If I could run in the Olympics, I would say the 400 hurdles. 400 hurdles, 110 hurdles, 200, and long jump.
Did you do track in high school, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir. I was a state champion.
Okay. Well, see, there you go. I didn't do my research. I did my research on your Little League days, thinking that I knew what was going on. I missed the big headline. When it comes to food, here in the Quad Cities, have you found something that's your thing that you got to hit up that you like when it comes to maybe a cheat meal here and there? I know you like to keep care of that body, but is there a cheat meal or a place you like to go to?
I do have a cheat meal. I would say on the weekends, sometimes I fry fish. That's my that's my cheat meal. I'll fry some fish, eat some spaghetti. You know, just keep it original.
You're catching and you're frying. Is that what you're doing on your bye week?
I don't buy fish ever. I hunt too also, so like I don't eat a lot of like beef like that. Most of it is venison.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to have to come hang out with you. When
Yes,
you
sir.
mentioned golf, are you any good?
I would say I'm good. I ain't gonna say I'm great to play pro, but I feel like I could average bogey through.
Okay. Who are you golfing with on the team? Who's a good golfer on the team? Have you golfed with anybody that's really good on the Steamwheelers team?
Not yet, actually. I only been out once here just because how cold it's been here.
Yeah.
But I went out with Brian, my roommate. He's one of the linebackers, and he didn't even golf that day. I just I was just messing around because we get golfing around here, golfing for free. So I was like, let's get out and have some fun. He was like, hey, I'm with you. And I actually didn't play that bad. I shot an 81, and I was like, hey, I'll take that.
Awesome.
I'll take that for now.
A few more for you. If you could have dinner with one person in the entire world, sports, sports, famous, not famous, who would it be and why?
Anybody in the world.
And obviously you're frying fish for him.
I would say Kevin Hart, because that'll be a very funny. That'll be the funniest conversation ever.
That's the first person who said Kevin Hart, but I can agree with that. You might as well have fun while you're eating a meal.
Yeah.
This is a big game this week. Back to football real quick and we'll wrap it up. What do you guys have to do to be successful? Is it still more about what you guys do and taking care of yourselves than worrying about the other team? I mean, obviously you got to worry about and scout and all that kind of stuff. But what do you guys have to do, X's and O's wise, to make this thing 5-0 before a little road trip next couple weeks?
I would say just believe in ourselves. Set the expectations high and limit the penalties. That's about it. And that's why I say believe in each other out there. It don't matter who in. Don't ever get jealous about who's in, because you never know. You never know what'll happen out there. So, yeah, believe in each other and just go out there and ball.
Deion, it's youth night where I think the first 500 kids get a youth jersey. The cool part about after the game is you guys stay there forever signing whatever. I think it's great. Give the pitch to the fan that doesn't have anything going on this weekend and can go watch amazing, really fast-paced, fun indoor football action. Give me the sales pitch. Give people the sales pitch to get down there this weekend.
Hey, get down there for sure. 7 p.m. Saturday. Look for number 11. Matter of fact, look for just the Quad City Steamwheelers, because I know these dogs are coming to fight it out. And look for a big win at the end of the game. Get y'all jersey signed by the players if you can. If you can find a football, look for me. If I score a touchdown, I'll throw a football in the crowd. I'll sign it after the game if y'all want it. Just be there. Be there, because it's a great time. You see me undefeated, and we're trying to make it 5-0.
And here's the thing. I've never seen somebody, Deion, go to a Wheelers game and say, man, that wasn't a good time. Everybody that goes there is like, I got to go back. You know what I mean? Like, they enjoy the heck out of it, win or lose. And right now it's been win. I do have to let you know that since we've been doing these on Wednesdays, and it started with the owner, Doug Bland, back before the season started, and Coach Ross a couple times, and Joe and Rudd and yourself, you guys haven't lost. I don't want to say I'm the only person who should get the credit, but don't I get a little bit of credit for the mojo from the show coming towards you guys?
The most definitely you get the credit. Hey, you see it's Wednesday. Hey, we had nothing going on today besides practice and all that, and you see we on here with the show with you. So, hey, the credit goes to you, because you really getting the exposure. This is not for us.
Oh, stop. All right, well, go get a win. I appreciate it. I love meeting you. And get down there to the Wheelers game and watch Deion score touchdown, throw a ball to you, all that kind of stuff. Be good. Stay healthy. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey.
All right, that is Deion McShane, the wide receiver for the Quad City Steamwheelers. It is Steamwheelers Wednesday here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, of course, brought to you by XUSD. So we appreciate them. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate the Wheelers as well, because they are a perfect 4-0 in the season. Quad Cities, Jacksonville going head-to-head coming up Saturday night down at the Vibrant Arena. Get your tickets, get down there. We got plenty more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Peterson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Please join us April 24th through May 3rd online for the 28th annual Chuck Long Charity Auction presented by Atlantic Bottling Company. This year's event features over 200 amazing items. The more bidders we have, the more money we'll raise for life-altering therapy for kids in need right here in the Quad Cities. So please bid high and bid often. Brought to you by these sponsors.
Quad City parents tired of the same old weekend routine? Well, listen up. Saturday night, April 26th, it's free youth jersey night with your Quad City Steamwheelers. The first 500 kids 12 and under score a free official Steamwheelers jersey just for showing up. That's right, free gear, big plays, and non-stop family fun. It's IFL football action and memories that'll last a lifetime. Grab your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and make it a night your kids won't forget. Presented by Crawford Company.
Welcome back to Off the Air on a Wednesday right here in the Quad Cities. Of course, it's that time of year. The sun is out. Spring is, I guess, here or right around the corner. It's that time to start thinking about being active shoes, active sandals, all those kind of things. And I wanted to bring in a guest of mine today. This is Ryan Erickson. He is the CEO of Amento Footwear. And they got a new product that we want to talk to you about a little bit. And then also they're going to be selling this product in the Quad Cities this weekend and really want to talk about why you should get out and kind of support us as well. But first and foremost, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you doing so. And I know you're a new footwear company out and about, and you're going to be at Active Endeavors this week kind of selling a new shoe. Can you talk about like the athletic sandal, I guess, that you guys are launching or getting out to people this week?
Yeah, so a partner of mine, Bill Weirs, who's originally from Moline, and I will be at the Active Endeavors this weekend. I've been in the shoe business pretty much all of my life, it seems like, one way or another, and really decided 2.5 years ago to start this brand. And it was kind of a leap of faith, I think, at a time when some people my age were stuffing their last dollars into their IRA. I'm spending it. So it's been kind of a labor of love, a labor of just deciding to make another higher risk, kind of like starting a podcast, and really wanted to. Finally, we got the product available, got it delivered. Active Endeavors in Corville and Iowa City, Carville and Davenport, have it on their shelves. So they were our first premier partner in the U.S. to carry it. And I've known Matt and some of his folks for a lot of years. Really one of the best outdoor stores in the country.
So many questions when you kind of talk about that. First, I want to talk to you about your partnership, because you mentioned a guy with a familiar name here in the Quad Cities, Bill Weirs, a Moline native. How did you guys link up? Obviously, you're an Iowa boy yourself, so Quad Cities and Iowa boy. How did you guys link up and form this partnership?
Well, we had met a few decades ago, probably some late night event in the footwear industry, and then we didn't know it, but we ran into each other again when I moved from Wisconsin to Santa Barbara to work for Deckers, which is a holding company for UGG and Teva and Hoka, and went out there to be the VP of North America for the Teva brand, and ran into Bill Weirs and immediately started telling old stories. And just always wonderful when even if you're just on vacation, to run into somebody from home, and we just really got along then, and kind of kept talking about it over the years. And then finally, a couple years ago, decided to do something about it. But, Bill's a really competitive guy and really, really knowledgeable on the shoe business. And so he's been a great partner.
Amento is the name. Say if I'm saying that right. Amento Products. Tell us what it is.
Try to make it easier.
Yeah, tell us what it is. The product. It's an athletic sandal. I kind of understand, but kind of explain what people can get their hands on this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a consumer walking into the retail stores over the last 5 years, you've really seen a kind of a sea change just by observing the wall. It went from people of all ages wearing brown comfort shoes to over the last 5 years, everybody of all ages wearing Hoka and On and other great running product just because they're so comfortable. And I looked at that and I thought, well, it's been a bit since sandals have innovated, so that seemed to be a good entry point for us to get into the outdoor athletic world. And so we started doing that. Since we've started, there's been a couple brands that have kind of done similar things, but not quite to the level of technology and we believe comfort and lightweight, for this category. So it was really something. And I always said that if you're going to start a shoe company, you should really do something that you like to talk about. And I didn't really want to do fashion lifestyle stuff. I'm not that trendy. But yet you still have to understand colors and direction and technologies and pour all that into the science of making the product. And that's been a big part of what we've done. And, I think that's where the outcome has been, an athletic, comfortable, just like what they did in the running side. We pulled into the sandal side with some different ways of connecting your upper to the platform to make your feet super secure with a twist lock system, cable lock system that you can click down and get your foot anchored. So, really it's all about the technology, understanding the industry, and obviously you can't do it without great partners like Bill, but also like Matt Ostrom at Active Endeavors. His insight into the early design process was critical to get us where we are today. He was the first guy to see the first samples that we got, and he's been giving us some really great feedback ever since.
This was Thursday, the 24th through the 27th. I think that's Thursday. Yeah. You can get out there, big tent sale at Active Endeavors. And I think a cool thing about it as well is giving back. And I love the Midwestern in you, the Iowa in you, the Quad Cities in you guys, because you're out in California. I don't know if they do this stuff out there. I'm sure they do, but I feel like it's a little more love here in the Midwest. But giving back is important. And so 20% of what goes into these shoes, purchasing wise, goes to a great cause, adaptive sport programs for veterans here in the Quad Cities. Kind of talk about that and the ability to give back a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was an old Timberland CEO when I worked in that organization that talked about doing well and doing good. And I know that, Matt supports a lot of great causes around the Quad Cities. And I know that, the Rock Valley Physical Therapy, who is really spearheading this donation effort, are run by a couple guys I've known for decades, Mike Horsfield, Eric Sasha, Randy Bolt, those guys. And, really, I was talking to Mike about how we could really, give back to the community. And so between all those conversations, we came up with an organization that Mike's team is currently supporting, Lola and her team over at the Quad Cities Veterans Outreach Center, and they do amazing work. They support over 4,400 veterans. They went from 8 years ago, I think, to a few hundred to now well over that 4,000 mark. So it's incredible what she's done. So we're going to give back 20% of what we sell back to that organization, and we're obviously she's doing and their team is doing all the work. We're just selling some shoes and donating back, but we're grateful that of the work that she's doing, and we're lucky to be even mentioned with a great team over there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing fantastic things over there and making a difference, which I think is a beautiful thing as well. Ryan, before I let you go, talk about the name and the brand of the name, because you mentioned, and you're right, you're starting something new is exciting and all of that, but there's also times you wake up, like I probably did, and thought, what the heck am I doing? So you have to start from ground zero, and it came with a name, and kind of talk about Memento, how you get the name and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you think about you watch the movies and you see these people go from nothing and being all these, running these successful organizations, but it has to start somewhere. And that's what we did. We just sat here on our Zoom meetings and, really just what could it be? We talked about buying other brands that were, no longer on the shelf and trying to figure out a way, because all the good names have been taken, right? So you got to be creative. And ament is actually Latin for strap. And I was kind of playing around with that word when, we kind of decided to put an O at the end of it. It just sounded like momentum. So Amento Footwear is the name of the brand. And it just really, and I said, what, if you can have a brand name like Crocs or UGG or Hey Dude, at the end of the day, it's really what the brand represents to the person willing to pull out some money out of their wallet and buy it. And if the brand name sounds acceptable and the product looks great, then it's a lot easier.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, too, people that are curious, obviously get out to Active Endeavors. You don't got to wait till Friday or Thursday or whatever. But I mean, that's when the 20% thing is. So that'd be a cool thing as well. But what kind of things are they going to get? What about this sandal that they're going to enjoy, or just the fact that go on, try it on, take a look at it, and see what's new and creative when it comes to athletic sandals and that kind of genre when it comes to footwear?
I was a part of a advertising brand with Reebok, and they didn't take my advice. They went with the slogan about greatest running shoe in the history of the world. This was, a few decades ago. And I'm like, that just isn't true. There is no such thing. It's really the number one thing that matters is if it fits your foot correctly, right? That's the first thing that should happen. So that's why independent retail is still such a powerful part of the landscape today. And this is why Memento is teaming up with people like Matt at Active, because that's where consumers can go and get an actual physical world, not online, no phones needed. Just show up, try on some great product. The great sales team that he has over there, they know their stuff. You get a curated collection of items, not just from Memento, but a bunch of great brands. And I think that's where, instead of trying to claw through 1,000 listings online, you go there and you know that every single product that Matt and his team have purchased are there for a reason, right? Every single one. So you can try on our products, try on our competitive products. We hope we will win out on that wear test, but it gives you a perfect opportunity to really see what's going on in the world, and gives us a chance to talk about independent retail and come back to our roots and enjoy a little kind of home court advantage here in our backyard where we're from.
I love it. And you're right. It makes no sense. I'm a feel type of guy. And I think most people are when it comes to shoes. It's crazy that people will go online and click a link and, I like that color. And then they're going to buy something. That's important. Like, it's important to feel, to be comfortable in your shoes. So, well, Ryan, I appreciate your time. Again, if people are interested, and I hope you are, and people watch this in the Coralville area as well. So if you're watching, Active Endeavors has it in both locations. Do both locations? I know the one here in the Quad Cities is doing the 20% to donate this weekend. So Thursday through Sunday, or the exact Thursday through Sunday, I'll get it out. Memento products is what it is. Just go sample it, try it on. It goes to a great cause if you make the purchase. And Ryan, I appreciate your time. Super exciting about what you're doing. Best of success, and I'm gonna head over there and check them out. I'm intrigued. So you've got me intrigued. That's a beautiful thing.
Well, we hope we made, we believe we made great product, but you also know that everybody gets their own vote. So hopefully we just have a chance to get in the race.
Ryan, I appreciate your time. We'll talk to you real soon.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Matt.
All right. That is Ryan over with the CEO at Amento Footwear. Again, head over to Active Endeavors. We'll remind you here on Off the Air as well, but we'll get on over there. Check them out. Thursday through Sunday, 20% go to adaptive sport programs for veterans right here in the Quad Cities. So help out the Quad Cities as well and get yourself a great new product. We got a lot more to get to. You're watching Off the Air. We'll be right back. When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist. Please join us April 24th through May 3rd online for the 28th annual Chuck Long Charity Auction presented by Atlantic Bottling Company. This year's event features over 200 amazing items. The more bidders we have, the more money we'll raise for life-altering therapy for kids in need right here in the Quad Cities. So please bid high and bid often. Brought to you by these sponsors. Welcome back to Off the Air on a Wednesday here in the Quad Cities. Wednesday, April 23rd. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hump Day officially here, underway, hopefully done soon, and we can start looking toward the weekend. It's been a fun show. Off the top of the show, Iowa legend, former Detroit Lion as well, Chuck Long was on the show with Angie Peterson as well to talk about the Chuck Long charity auction. I put the link out in my social media. I'm going to continue to do that. The Chuck Long charity auction is in year number 28, which is amazing. All the money raised will help kids right here in the Quad Cities. It goes right back to kids here in the Quad Cities. You mentioned, or you heard Angie mentioned earlier, the waiting list is like 200 kids. So we want to help as many kids as possible. It's something that I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to be able to help with for quite many years now. So I'm really excited about this year's event. It's an online charity auction. It gets underway around midnight tonight is when the live auctioning starts. But you can go there right now and you can check out everything, get signed up, all that good stuff. just go look. That's all we ask. Go look, go check some things out. There's literally something there for everyone. Food, Chick-fil-A for the year, Godfather's Pizza, a great sponsor here for Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, has a great package as well. And we mentioned it with Chuck and Angie. There is a package on there, and I don't know why you'd want it. I do, because Pat's beloved. But it's dinner for two, along with me, Pat Anger, and Tom Kakert at Me and Billy in Davenport. So go and bid on that as well. Have dinner with Pat, Tom, and myself, and or just Pat. If you want to tell me to stay home, I understand. So yeah, so there's something for everyone. ctcqc.org. Go there right now. You don't have to wait till tonight at midnight, but that's when the live auctioning begins around midnight, 12:15 tonight. Goes through May 3rd. So bid high, bid often, help out kids in the Quad Cities, and also get some really cool stuff that you can get. In fact, that picture right there, which is really cool. You can't see it really on the camera, but Pat Hughes wrote out the final call to the I'll take the microphone with me. I'm kind of not very good at this stuff. To the final game of the 2016 World Series. So I got that at the auction as well. So stuff you can't get places. I mean, it's not like you can go online and say, hey, give me a autographed Cubs poster with Pat Hughes writing out the final call. So really unique items on there as well. So again, go check out Chuck. We talked about football as well, and college football and the Hawkeyes and new quarterback, all that kind of stuff. But main focus for a while was on the Chuck Long charity auction. So also it's Steamwheeler Wednesday. Make sure you get down to the Wheelers this weekend. They play Jacksonville. Loved having Deion McShane on, wide receiver from the Wheelers, talking about undefeated. The bye week, coming off the bye week, a huge game this week, and then a bunch of fishing stuff as well. So go check that out if you missed it. And then we want to thank Ryan Erickson for coming on. He's the CEO of Amento Footwear. There's an athletic sandal that you saw a video of. You can get it right now at Active Endeavors here in the Quad Cities. Thursday through Sunday, there's a tent sale. If you go there and take part and get the sandal, 20% of it goes to veterans here in the Quad Cities. So a very cool thing as well. So love talking with Eric. A couple local guys, Eric from the state of Iowa, and then his partner from Moline as well. So go and check out Active Endeavors. And he kind of brought it up during the interview. There's places like Running Wild, Active Endeavors, those places like that do a great job with service and knowledge and those kind of things. So go in person, check that kind of stuff out. Get ready, because I'm going to go for a run this afternoon. So God knows I need it. So it's that time of year to get some good footwear to get outside and be active this spring. So we talked about it at the start of the show, but we are going on the road for the first time tomorrow. So tomorrow, don't expect a show at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be trying to take all of this gear, it's not that much, and take it over to Oscar's Pub in Bettendorf, right by the TBK, right by the TBK Sports Complex. We'll do the show live from there, 5 to 7. Pat Anger will be with me. In fact, we made the pretty little graphic. Let me toss it up real fast. Pat Anger will be there, our special guest. Also, Darian Porter is scheduled to be there around 5 or 5:15 to hop on the show for a little bit. A big night for him, a big weekend for him. You're going to hear his name, maybe tomorrow night in the later first round, but definitely on Friday. The Bettendorf standout, cornerback at Iowa State, killed it at the Combine, had a great season for Iowa State. He's a Bettendorf Bulldog. I want him to be drafted higher than Pat so bad, and so does Pat. But let's make him the highest drafted Bettendorf Bulldog ever. So he'll be there for a little bit. Pat Anger, Tom Kakert, a bunch of different characters as well. Come on out, get some drinks, get some food. 5 to 7 is the show. If you can't make it at 5, get there at 5:30, get there at 6. It don't matter to me. And then stay and hang out afterwards and watch the draft with us. So it's the inaugural NFL draft party, off the air draft party. So thank you to Oscar's Pub for putting up with us. T. Roy is awesome. He's been great the last couple of weeks doing his .08 mock draft, and we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow. And then I'm telling you guys right now, I am leaning towards not having a show Friday morning at 10 o'clock. probably a couple different reasons for that. One, I got to get all the equipment set back up here in the studio upstairs. So it'll be a quick turn to do that. And then also, I don't know what time I'm going to be home on Thursday night. So with all that said, maybe we will. We'll see what ends up happening. But tomorrow is a big day for Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Hopefully you guys can come out, support it, join us, say hi to Pat, myself, Tom, T-Roy, Darian Porter if he happens to make his way by, which I'm hoping he will. So should be a lot of fun. And then also want to talk to you guys because next week we're working on some guests, and in my opinion, they get none bigger, none better than Iowa head football coach Kirk Ferentz. He is set up to join the show at some point next week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So we're still narrowing that down, but Iowa has their spring game, of course, on Saturday, and I use the word game lightly, but you know what I mean. They have their spring practice game-ish thing. So we'll kind of talk with him about those kind of stuff as well. And also, before I let you guys go, the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing is now like less than 2 months away. It's sneaking up on me. We still have openings. Get on out there. We're going to have a great time. Addison Ostrenga and Zach Ortworth they're going to captain the Iowa football team. They'll go head-to-head against an Illinois football team captained by Cole Rusk. So excited to have that competition for the third straight year. Cooper Koch is bringing a group of Iowa basketball players, so we're excited about that. Also, Pat Enger will be in the house. Tom Kakert, Joe Conklin, several others. Charles Jugasol is going to tee it up once again and play with us this year. The former Alleman standout and now starred left tackle. I put star in there because he did great. Left tackle over at Notre Dame. So we still have some openings. They're going to fill up quickly. They're filling up great as is. But go to GuyRandazzoGolf.com. Get yourself a foursome. Sign yourself up. I promise you'll have a great time. Great day of golf. Snoop's chips and salsa on the course. Great different fun games out on the course. And then a meal catered by Snoop afterwards. So we appreciate Snoop in so many different ways. Obviously with the golf outing, but of course his support of Off the Air has been outstanding, and it's been there from the jump, which is what, if you know Snoop, you know that's the type of human being he is. So anyways, that'll do it for today's show. Speaking of Snoop, we want to thank our amazing sponsors for helping us do this little show each and every day. Every day at 10 o'clock, except for tomorrow at 5 p.m. We do this show called Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you. Hopefully, you can get on out. We can see you live tomorrow at Oscar's Pub at 5 p.m. If not, join us here on YouTube or on X as well. Have a great Wednesday, Quad Cities.